All right, well, God bless you, everybody, and I hope that this video finds you in good health. I am just wanting to come on and talk to you for a few moments, just to cover a few things that have occurred since the last time I did a vlog on this journey I am navigating with lupus. So the first thing I wanted to say is, again, remember that a good healthy diet may make the difference in not only lupus, but everything that pertains to the autoimmune diseases. So whatever they are, whether it's multiple sclerosis or whether it's Sjögren's disease or whatever you're struggling with, it may be fibromyalgia. There are so many things that are caused by a an excessive amount of lupus, I'm sorry, of inflammation in the body. So, what I'm going to do is just kind of share with you what has happened over the past couple of months. Um, Let me start by saying that I was able to take a trip overseas, and that was to Pakistan. And that was a very important trip to me as I have been very much into and in ministry with the various churches there and individuals there. This trip afforded me the opportunity to see them and to meet them, some of them face to face, that not only were part of the churches that I had ministered to, but other people I've just been talking to individually that happened to live right in the city of Lahore, Pakistan. So it was a beautiful trip. There are some pictures on the website. I traveled with our organization, the Global Missions of the PCAFI, which is Pentecostal Churches of the Apostolic Faith Incorporated. And that was a learning experience, and it was a beautiful fellowship experience. It was also eye opening on people that are on this journey in other parts of the world where you get a lot less leniency for being in Christianity. All right, but let's talk about it a little bit. So, I went to Pakistan at the end of January. It was a long flight, and on my way there, hey Rachel, love you too, sis. On my way there, I was just wiped out because it was probably about 25 to 29 hours in travel total. And so when I got there, when we finally got to our hotel room, I was really so tired. It was 4:30 in the morning before I got in bed. We were to meet for breakfast at 6:30, and I was just tired. So I laid down and I noticed that on the inside of my body, there was kind of like a stinging sensation. And I simply attributed it to the excessive stress of the travel, the moving around, maybe the airplane food, and, the body just needing to recover with some good rest. Um, that was at the end of January. Now, I got back just about five or 6 days later, and everything was fine. I was going to work, everything was well. And then one day I got sick. And there was a lot of nausea, there was heartburn, and it just wouldn't go away. After I couldn't take it anymore, and it wasn't subsiding, but getting worse, I finally went uh, to the emergency room, only to find out through many tests and scans that the body had a lot of inflammation in it, specifically around the appendix and the gallbladder. Now, this was a surprise and a shock to me because I keep my diet free of fried foods, fast foods. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables, and I hydrate excessively, or should I say obsessively, because my journey was to get rid of or to reverse this diagnosis of lupus. All right, so that was good because I had my body under control. I had many blood tests done. I had um, my annual exams, everything done, and everything came back with good numbers. no inflammation that I was noticing too much. There was a little bit in my hands, around the fingers, but no pain anywhere else in the body. Long story short, about a month, we got back the first part of February. So about 5 weeks later, again, I was experiencing this heartburn. Hey, God bless you, Tamika and Rosie. I was experiencing heartburn. So I went to the hospital and they did the scan and the blood work. And it showed that, again, inflammation was around the appendix, inflammation and ascites, which is fluid buildup. And they also showed the same thing around the gallbladder. Again, I don't know what caused it. I still don't know what caused it because I don't have a diet that would attribute to these type of conditions. I had to have emergency surgery. The emergency surgery was to remove the appendix, and they thought they'd be able to save the gallbladder, but when they got in, it was too bad. There was pus, gallstones. They spilled into the cystic duct, so the fluids that come from the gallbladder to go to the food when you eat was blocked. There was no ability to function, so they had to remove it. This was surgery that should have taken probably about half an hour for the appendix and probably an hour for the gallbladder. Total of 5.5 hours is what I show when I looked at the report that I was under the anesthesia. Now, I'm saying that to say this. If I have been eating a diet or maintaining a diet that finds the inflammation in the body and reduces it, as well as eating foods that will maintain health and prevent the inflammation, then how is it that there could be so much inflammation in the body around those particular organs? Well, I guess the bigger question would be, what if I did not have such a diet? Would the appendix have burst or erupted before we found out what it was? And what had happened to the gallbladder? Would it have been worse? Now, it's already two major surgeries that are really routine procedures, but they ended up turning out to be two major surgeries. So, what I want to say to you is, again, if this particular diet, and I always push the book by Brooke Goldner, the book called Goodbye Lupus. And it is a holistic diet. It's really just lots of uncooked green, like smoothies with lots of green in it, like your spinach, a little bit for the flavor, fresh salads, fresh vegetables, as well as I do eat cooked vegetables, but I put lots of green in there and natural things. And I keep away from things like the dairy and some of the other, like even tomatoes will even cause inflammation. Now, if I had a bad diet, if I had a diet that contained all those things that contribute to the inflammation, or a diet that was just not healthy for the body to fight and to continue to function under this type of stress, then it may have been another way. It was already bad enough. So, what I want to do is encourage you that if that diet is able to prevent um, some of that infection and some of that inflammation, then just think what it can do um, in the case where you're having other problems with your health. It may contribute to it being less severe as it could be. So I wanted to show you the inflammation in my hands is gone. I want to show you this hand because I need a manicure. But the inflammation is gone. There's no pain in any of my joints. And that is significant because it was the pain in the joints that sent me to the hospital and that sent me to the doctor. And ultimately, she got the blood work and all the markers pointed to lupus and mild arthritis and mild lupus. So now what we're doing is continuing to monitor what's going on this journey. So it's been now three, and it's been 7 months since the diagnosis. And the diet I've maintained, of course, the incident, the doctor saw the other paperwork, um, and the blood work and everything, the doctor's report, the surgeon's report. And so now we're going to go in and look specifically for the markers that will tell where we are with the lupus and the arthritis. Again, I have no signs of the arthritis, no pain anywhere concerning arthritis, but I am still recovering from that emergency surgery. It was a very dark experience, but it's over with now. So, again, be encouraged. Get your diets where they should be. The doctor did give me the privilege, as I asked if we could reduce some of the risks of having an incident by just treating my body with antibiotics and anything that would reduce those risks. And he did for 24 hours. And after that period, all my numbers were good. The white blood count was back, um, um, was where he felt comfortable. It was close enough to normal that he could get in there and not have to worry about any kind of infection getting in my bloodstream. As many of you may know, if the bloodstream is infected, that can be fatal. So uh, again, all the numbers were able to get corrected within a 24-hour period, and so that helped the surgeon to do what he had to do. All right, so be encouraged. Look into that book by Dr. Brooke Goldner. It's called Goodbye Lupus, and it has recipes in there. She has a Wednesday live vlog. So if you go on to YouTube and type in Goodbye Lupus, you'll probably catch her live. And she does answer questions. She came down with it and she reversed it. It's been 27 years since she had a flare up, and she has been declared free of that lupus disease. Okay, so again, whatever the case is, whether it's um, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, Sjogren's disease, arthritis, all of these immune system conditions can be reversed. Now, one thing I do want to say is that I had conversation because since then I also went to see my primary care physician to go over whatever she needed to know and give me about that whole incident. And she did say, because I believe that it was induced by the vaccine, I believe that because I never had a problem with arthritis at that level until I took the vaccine. And shortly after that, just days, I began to break out and get uh, some of those symptoms that are signs and symptoms of lupus. So, but my doctor did say if it was induced by medication, then it can be reversed. So that means all the medication has to get out of your system and then your body has to heal. So the change of the diet and the hyper nutrition that Brooke Goldner talks about helped my body to do that. So here we are today. All right, so listen, I am going to go ahead and end this vlog right now and share it with someone else. I have, some people are very private and that's fine, but I think that if I can be of assistance to somebody else getting over the dreads of this disease or managing it or knowing what is normal and not to feel that it's something you cannot overcome, then it's worth being transparent. So, again, I am going to come back in and I'll get back with you. I have the doctors put in orders. Both of my doctors have put in orders for specific blood work. All of my numbers, everything looks good, except we have to look at the markers for lupus to see where they are at this point. And I am excited to come back and tell you either they have improved or they have stayed the same. What we don't want is for them to have declined even further, which means that my body is being overwhelmed and stressed even more with this disease. So we'll be talking with you in a few weeks once I get these reports. All right. God bless you. And to those that follow us today, my husband and myself, will be doing the study out of the Sunday school lesson on the book of Revelation, chapter number 14, which is a whip. It is going to tell you things that are going to make you just be so glad that you have wrapped your heart around what the Word of God says. All right, that's it. Okay, so that's going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time today. And other than that, drop a note or something, not just that you're watching, but where you're watching from, and then also let me know if there are any questions or concerns regarding this particular um, this particular blog. Look for me in a couple of weeks, okay? God bless.